So whether the first impression is correct or accurate or not, it has been debated for a long time. So today I would like to talk about it. And this is my outline. First is the introduction, then I will tell you a short story, then the misunderstanding of first impression, next the accuracy of first impression, and last the conclusion. So as a childhood, we often been told that do not judge a book by its cover because we can't define a person only by the first look of seeing him or her. So from the educational point, it sounds quite justified. But is it really we can judge a book by its cover? There are many other opinions about this issue nowadays. So to begin with this issue, I would like to tell a short story first. One day, a lady in a dress and her husband who wear a normal suit stepped into the president of the Harvard's office and they asked to talk to the president. So the secretary told her to wait for a moment. She thought that maybe just keep them waiting, they will leave eventually. But however, hours passes, the couple still wait in the office. So the secretary has no choice but told the president that maybe they will leave after you meet them for just a few minutes. So the couple went to see the president, and the lady said to the president that our son is studied in Harvard, but he died accidentally. So we would like to build a memorial for him in the campus and give a building to Harvard. And the president was so shocked and refused them immediately and said that, do you have any idea how much a building will cost and will cost to build in our campus? It costs almost $10 million to build a building. And the lady felt silent for a few seconds and turned to her husband and said, is that all it costs to start a university? So why don't we just start our own? So they walked away and went back to their hometown, California, and established the Stanford University. So this couple are Mr. and Mrs. Stanford. Yes, so this story is a famous example about do not judge a book by its cover. So here are 5 reasons that people should stop judging a person from the first impression. Number 1, people have their guard up. Not everyone like Jack or Mac or me like to show who we are in the first time. It takes sometimes for people to remove their defense or shyness to open their heart to people. Yes. And second is that people are multi-faced. That human beings are not one-dimensional beings that only have one personality. So the first impression just a glimpse about the person. So it takes a long time that we can know more truly and more closely about the people. And third, we tend to judge people before knowing them, either from the stereotype or our own experience. Just like the president of Harvard. He might think that the couples are lack of education or needed because they dress in a simple and old clothes. Yes. And fourth is that emotional state can impact the way we act. Let's take the president of Harvard for example again. Before he met the couple, maybe he just finished some annoying paperwork. So he will have some negative feelings about the couple, so that affects his judgment about the couple. Yes. And last but not least, short time frame limits us to get to know people. Yes, we just take a second to make a judgment on people in first impression, but we do not get to know the story about the person or what they have been through. Yes. So based on these 5 points, some will say that the first impression is neither correct nor accurate. But is it really this? Is it really we can judge a book by its cover? It doesn't seem so. Because in the ancient time, our ancestor doesn't have that much time to get to know a person or get to interact with others to understand them. So while they are hunting, they have to make a quick judgment or a snap judgment to consider that if the people they meet for the first time are friends or enemies. So in other words, we can say that we're born to have this ability to judge a person on the first impression. And next, there's an old saying in the East that we shape by our thoughts and we become what we think about. This means that the things that we think in mind will somehow reveal on our appearance. Yes, so this makes each of us exude a unique temperament, and people can feel it from the first time people met. And last, from the scientific points, there's a research about this too. Yes, the researchers in Cornell University find that when it comes to the first impression, our initial thoughts tend to be accurate. Yes, they give participants a picture of a person and ask them to make a judgment or make a quick assessment about the feeling that how will they feel when they interact with the person. And 1 month later, the participants and the person really meet each other. And they are shocked to find out that the judgment the participants made before are always accurate and always correct. And this reports in the magazine Life Science too. So hearing from here, some may say that, but there are still examples for judging people wrong by first impressions. And in addition, different situations can affect people, such as an applicant may get nervous in an interview and he will perform that not so well and leave a bad first impression to the interviewers. But if we look closely, we can find that all the story that about the first impression occurred on the extraordinary people. It's not that common. And second, an applicant must know that he will get nervous in an interview, so he must be well prepared. If he is not, so it means that he is not suitable for this position. Yes, so finally, just like Lincoln said, every person should be responsible for his own looks because the looks and the appearance will affect how others think about us. So in other words, we can judge a book by its cover. Thank you, everybody.